It's so fascinating. Sugar is addictive. When we quit sugar, the most salient symptoms is intense craving for sugar. And it's so amazing how intense it is.
So someone listening to this right now, they're struggling with one of these addictions. They've got a pornography addiction. They're addicted to gaming. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's erotic novels. What do you say to that person that the step one is?
Step one is really just acknowledging the behavior, that it's problematic and that it might require some changing in our lives. The next step is being honest with ourselves and maybe another person about why we do the behavior, what we get out of it, what's positive. Step three would be honestly making a list of all of the problems with the behavior. How is it interfering with my goals? And after we've done all that, really done a really honest self-assessment about the behavior, I recommend a 30-day dopamine fast. Now, we're not really fasting from dopamine, right? Because we're not really ingesting dopamine. What we're doing a fast from is whatever that substance or behavior is that is causing these kinds of problems, potentially. Maybe we aren't even really sure, but we think it might be. Give it up for 30 days. Why 30 days? Well, we know that 2 weeks is not enough, right? That people are still in that dopamine deficit state. But 30 days based on clinical experience, not just mine, but that of many other people who do this work. For most people, no matter the drug and no matter sort of the severity and chronicity, once they get to about 30 days, they begin to feel better. They begin to come out of that tunnel of constant craving. They begin to be able to imagine a life in which they would, not necessarily have to rely on this substance or on this behavior. What I always tell folks when they're preparing for the dopamine fast is just remember, you will feel worse before you feel better. But that is withdrawal-mediated suffering. Once you get through those first 14 days, you'll begin to feel better. And potentially by 30 days, you'll feel much better than you have in a really long time. It's so fascinating. And I think this is sort of a universal experience. First of all, sugar is addictive. It lights up the same reward pathway as drugs and alcohol. And when we quit sugar, we have a come down, right? We go into withdrawal, and it's manifested in all the different ways that we've talked about. And it lasts for about 2 weeks. And one of the most salient symptoms is intense craving for sugar. And it's so amazing how intense it is. But if we can get through that period and get out of that vortex of addictive craving, the craving gradually gets better and then eventually goes away, which is, by the way, very paradoxical, because whatever our drug is, when we first stop it, we have intense cravings, and we have the feeling that the cravings will only get worse with time. It never does, right? With time, the craving goes away.